Hey, what's up, Speed Addicts? Welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are not really doing a new build. We're kind of doing a new build, but not like a full new build. We're actually just doing a little bit of work. But I want to take you guys along. I'm pretty pumped and pretty excited about what I got to do to this particular vehicle. For one, because it involves fabrication, which I love. For two, I'm doing work on a car and a motor, or the combination of the two, that is popular. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the car that we're going to be doing work on next. Check this out, fellas. We got an EG hatch with a fully built K series. This is a K24 bottom end with a K20 head. Look like it's something from 4 pistons. We got a humongous skunk tube race style intake manifold, which looks like it has like a plenum spacer on it. Belong to my boy Jonathan. He loves K-tuned. We got a K-tuned valve cover. We got some aftermarket coil packs. K-tuned radiator hose. We got a humongous throttle body. I don't particularly know all the details on the build. My boy John seems like he wants to kind of keep it hush-hush. When I asked him what he got, he only gave me just a little bit of information, but he did tell me that this setup is capable of about 400 horsepower NA. What we're gonna be doing on this build is we're actually gonna be making him a custom exhaust. By the way, have you ever seen a throttle body as big as your fist on a freaking 4-cylinder? That's sick. So this is a good visual look of what the K-tuned, what they call the big tube header, straight up for racer applications, look like from the bottom. They're saying here that it is a 48mm primary from the top, then it comes down to a 50, then eventually it breaks down to a 54, and as you can tell, it's got like a reducer on the outside, which this end is a 3-inch. The nice thing about this is it already comes with the O2 bung, so we don't have to do anything as far as welding the bung into place. And another thing I like also is the springs. So of course, installing this thing can kind of be tough since it's on the back side of the motor, but the part that we got to start fabrication is actually right here. So all we got to do is take these springs off, and then this second section of the header will come off. So let me go ahead and get these springs off. We're gonna take this off, clean the inside of it. Look, it got a little carbon buildup like my boy may have started it one time before. And then we're gonna go ahead and start our exhaust fabrication. And just a quick look, looks like it's gonna come straight back. It's gonna make a 90, make another 90. And then we get to this point, we're gonna have to figure out if we can make a piece of 3-inch kind of snake up in through here and come over top of this rear sway bar. And of course, the last portion will be the muffler. So with that being said, let me show you the items that we got to see if we can make this build. Okay. Wow, look at what we got here. All of our exhaust components that we're gonna use. Starting from the left, we got 4 3-inch V-bands. We got a 3-inch bellow. These are the bellows I like to use. I don't like to use those accordion looking flex exhaust deals. You got to spend a little extra money, but they look a whole lot better underneath the exhaust. Of course, we got a UJ bend here. So, you know, you see that little U bend, we got a 45, we got kind of like a, not quite necessarily a U bend. It is 3-inch stainless. We have a Vibrant resonator. As you can tell, nice chromed out piece. Top it all off with this K-tuned muffler. Then we got a piece of 3-inch straight to finish off the exhaust build. Just like that. All right, fam. Of course, when you do stuff like this, you have to buy new stuff. I took this opportunity to buy a few new things for my boy's project. This is actually one of the new items that I purchased. I bought a 6-inch buffer, and I bought this convolute wheel. I forget the part number. I'll see if I can find it. If I do find it, I'll throw it in here somewhere. But basically what this is designed to do is designed to polish stainless before you weld it. Of course, when you weld stainless, you want it to be super clean. You have to hit it with acetone. Sometimes you can do Dawn dish detergent or Dawn dishwashing soap. Between the combination of two, you get it super clean. But this actually brings the stainless to a good polish finish so that when you weld it, it'll look even better. I don't know why, but it left some streaks in it. I don't like that. I might have to go back to my Scotch-Brite method. Now that I got the V-band tacked into place, it should be a lot easier to accomplish. So I want the V-band somewhere right here. I'm at, like I said, about 16. I'll do 16 and a half. Yeah, I'm gonna do 16 and a half. Cut a piece of 16 and a half. All right, fam, I got the bellow tacked on 4 sides. Now I'm ready to purge it and fully weld it. And so what I'm doing, I took an old shirt, cut it up, I stuffed it down in there, and then I'm gonna take this section here, fill it with argon. Actually, I'll take it back. When I weld it, I'm gonna weld it like this. So I'm gonna have, matter of fact, man, I suck at explaining stuff. Hold on. All right, before we fully weld this, I want to introduce another product that I purchased just for this build. Let me show you what I got. Wow, we got some 3-inch purge plugs from Vicon. And what I'm gonna do with this deal here, or actually what it's designed to do is, let me take it out the package real quick because I ain't even opened it. All right, these are super helpful when you want to purge something. I'm not sure exactly what material is made out of, but basically it's a purge plug. So what we're gonna do is one side is gonna go in one side to be a diffuser, and then we got this little rod that's gonna stick through one of the other purge plugs, and then we're gonna run our hose to that. And then this little diffuser is a little bit bigger than this deal here, but if you look inside, it's got like a recess section where you kind of have to peel it back. I'm not gonna be able to do it with one hand, but you get the drift. So I'm gonna weld this thing up just like this. So I'm gonna use the purge plug on the bottom right here to fill up the inside with argon. I took an old shirt and stuff it down in there so I don't have argon come up through these runners. And I'm gonna have the argon come in through the bottom, and I'm gonna have it come out through this O2 bone. That's my purge setup. Got that running from my regulator at 10 CFH. I got it going into my Tycon purge plug. Use the high temp tape, punch a couple of holes in it, letting it purge for like maybe 1 minute. We're gonna start welding. I don't know if you can tell, but we don't have any sugaring. We got a little bit of sugaring for where I tacked it, on which I can hit with a carbide bit. And to be honest with you, I almost didn't even probably need to even purge this thing. If I would have daggone limited my heat input, I might have been all right. But the purge plugs work. And surprisingly, my tribal Jesus Christ shirt ain't even that warm. I could have sworn it might have would have caught on fire, but we good. Also, I purchased another tool off of Amazon. Let me show it to you. Wow, it's a vast deburring tool. Open up the box, and it came with the deburring tool that swivels, nice and sharpened. And then look, it came with a bunch of extra little bits. I'm gonna use this after I cut my pipe. I can go ahead and deburr it. This here got like a little lip on it. So let's try this tool out and see how I do. Hey, I'm gonna let you know too, man, that's a terrible noise to hear. For easy handling, I'm gonna go ahead and weld this 16-inch piece to the other side of that V-band, which is attached to the Vibrant resonator. And you see how that kind of step up is kind of thick, like right here, this little land. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the belt sander over there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically belt sand this edge to kind of make it kind of roll in a little bit. That way that when I weld it, the weld will look a little bit better. Before I go ahead and go any further as far as welding that up, I am gonna need to make a trip to the local supply store. I am out of gas almost. All right, before I make that weld and that weld on the V-band, let me show you how I'm gonna purge this. What I got right here is an old wideband oxygen sensor. I basically cut off the bottom section, the bulb section, and I cut off the top section, which is the wire section. Found a little piece of kind of like a bar fitting. As you can tell, I welded it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook my hose right here, which is gonna be my argon, and I'm gonna fill this whole thing up, and we're gonna make our 2 welds. Back to the exhaust, I got all of my joints up to this resonator, welded up. I'm having to turn this thing kind of up and down because it is an oval resonator. When you turn it this direction, it's just too wide for these little bitty and somewhat close frame rails. So what I think I'm gonna do also, there is a webbing piece right here. I think it's got spot welds. I think I want to drill it out so I can get it up a little bit closer, because this is actually sitting down 2 inches lower than the frame rail and I'm not comfortable with it. And before we finish up the complete exhaust, we'll go ahead and seam seal a lot of this stuff, sand it down, seam seal it, and see if we can throw some paint over so it don't rust. There we go. But that resonator is nowhere near as low as it was before, and it's definitely higher than the oil pan, which is the lowest point of the car. So I've already pre-bent this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a bend right here in the middle. That way it'll have kind of like an upwards down V. And then we can go ahead and weld it up so that we can keep this section of the exhaust in place. Let's see if that's enough of a V. And then real quick, this here is like a 6x48. Usually when I go to Lowe's, I have to get one of these little pads right here, almost 20 bucks, maybe a little more. Did not know that Harbor Freight sells like a dagglim, I don't know what it is, a 5-pack. Sell this 5-pack for like 14 bucks. You got 3 different grits, but I decided to do a 120 grit. And again, this is a 6x48, so hey, we're gonna see how this junk work out. I've already used it, so far it's working pretty good. I had to cut the welding short. Whoa. Due to both of these little bad boys going out. So 2 2032 Duracell batteries later, we can start back welding. Alright fam, so we have finally made it back to the rear section. This is the most complicated section due to the fact that we have to run this 3-inch pipe not only over this True Heart lower control arm, but we also got to go over that sway bar. Let's take the piping that we do have and see if we can make something work. Alright, so my thought process is if I can take this section of pipe and keep it like right there, I think if I cut it somewhere up here and make kind of like a somewhat of a whatever this angle is, make this join up to here, and then on this side maybe make a couple of pie cuts to get it to kind of come back down, because the exhaust, or excuse me, the muffler is going to hang a little bit lower, like something like that. It'll have a bunch of pie cuts to kind of make it a super duper tight radius. To be honest with you, I think I got to figure out this section right here. All right, Speedaddixx fam, a week has passed, and let me give you an update of where we stand on the EG 3-inch stainless exhaust build right here at Speedaddixxgarage. All right, starting here, we got our straight piece, we got a 45, we got another straight piece, and then we got, I know it's not a 45, but we got our bend. As you can tell, we got ample room in between the 3-inch exhaust and the gas tank, and then the same thing over here on this lower control arm. The most crucial piece is it running up above the True Heart lower control arm and this rear sway bar. So I got just enough room where if this thing moves too terribly much, it's gonna touch. So I purchased something, waited a couple days for it to come in to hopefully minimize the movement of the exhaust. So let me show you what I've been waiting on, and this is what we need to continue on with the rear section of the exhaust. Wow! Check this out. What we have here is a couple of hangers. I wanted to run this style of hanger. As you can tell, it's pretty basic. I mean, I honestly could have made this myself if I would have known better. Only thing would have been hard to find was probably this like little rubber insulator section. But as you can tell, there ain't gonna be too much side to side movement. Of course, you have this kind of movement. But I'm trying to tell you off camera, or you may not be able to see it, this takes a tremendous amount of force. So I decided to use a hanger like that because like I said, that 3-inch exhaust going above that lower control arm is gonna be tight, and I want to try to minimize as much movement as I can possible. So we're gonna weld this up, and let me show you the mounting location that I wanted to blah, blah, blah. And let me show you how I plan on installing this here. So right here where the lower control arm bolts up to the chassis, that's exactly where I want to put this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that bolt out. We're going to see if it will fit in that hole, which I'm sure is not, meaning that we need to drill this hole out a little bit more. And then if we need to, we can cut this rod down the length and kind of curve it up underneath this section so that we can get this all stationary, and then we can finally move this out the way. Get to put this new spiral step drill bit. Starts out at a 1/4 inch, ends up at a 1 3/8. Get to put this to good use. And like I said, it's a spiral. Normally it's like a this little gap right here is straight down on a couple sides, but this one here, it kind of makes it where it kind of spirals around. It actually works pretty good. You see how that mug cut right through that joker? Good. Like a glove. Come here, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. So I've already took it to the back and bent it to shape. So now all I gotta do is mark the bottom section where I wanna cut it. And I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this up and tack it into place, fellas. All right, fam, we got the hanger welded up. We got it back installed. And before I get on to the second portion, I wanna make sure my pipes are clean on the outside and inside. I mean, I do use soap. But one of the little tricks I found for cleaning the inside of this 3-inch pipe, remember I told you guys about how you can go to Harbor Freight and get you one of these little round Scotch-Brite deals? They got 3 different flavors. Those are the other 2 flavors, but this one here I think is the highest grit, maybe like a 400 grit. Anyways, this is what I was using originally to clean the outside of the pipe before I got this convolute wheel. But I wanted to figure out a way to clean the inside without, you know, doing all this motion right here, because that junk will give you carpal tunnel. If you look at this deal here, it won't go inside, it's way too big. Something I decided to do, if you take this deal right here, put it in the drill, and then cut this on and spin the drill and go back and forth. You take the material off of this until it's the same outside diameter as this. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that pipe real quick, hit it with a little acetone, and then we're gonna bolt it back up and finish up the rest of this exhaust. Hey, and before I continue, that mug ain't going out now well. That joker ain't now none gonna go nowhere. Check that out. So if you don't want your stuff to move, use one of them. All right, so off camera, I've been trying to figure out how to mock up the muffler. And part of helping me mock up the muffler, I made this little wooden jig right here. All I did was drill 2 holes in the bottom of this, put some rib nuts in, recess the holes up here so it wouldn't interfere with the muffler. And then I put the 2x4 originally was right here, but when I went to go jack it up, it was actually hitting the tub of where the spare tire goes. So I put it back on the bottom side here, screwed it in so that it can kind of stabilize these 3 pieces of 2x4. But let me set the muffler up here, get it into place. Let me show you the next problem or issue that I have with trying to get this set up. Issue number 1, I want this tip to kind of be somewhat lined up with the back bumper. I mean, if that tip stick out too far, it's gonna look kind of, in my personal opinion, look a little ricey. And since I'm trying to move it in this much, look how much space we got between the muffler inlet and this aftermarket sway bar. There ain't much room at all. I've already welded 3 pie cuts together. I got a 4th pie and a straight piece. And so far, this is what I'm looking like. Something like this. Obviously, that's not gonna work because it's hitting the sway bar, but we all know that pie cuts are able to get you the tightest radius that you could possibly get. So with that being said, that means I either need to move the muffler back a little bit, or another thing I want to do is maybe cut off a little slither of the section that's already welded to the inlet of the muffler. All right, fam, I got my next section coming off the muffler tacked up. But in order to achieve this, I figured it was a good time to explain how this thing is working. This thing that I got off of eBay is basically a hydraulic piping expander for exhaust stuff. This particular unit is meant for stainless, which is what we're working with. It's working absolutely phenomenal. You know, when you cut a pie, or if you cut into a bin, sometime, let's say this piece doesn't match up perfectly with the outside piece. So with me using this, I was able to actually open it up a little bit to get both of these with the best fit up I could possible. And side note with this deal here, all the movable parts on the inside, I had to lubricate and grease, so therefore it's easier to take this pipe off of here. And hey, I'm pretty stoked that I purchased this unit. It's actually working out great. I'm gonna have to cut this video short. As you can tell in these few clips, I ended up having to do a tremendous amount of pie cuts to make this bend over the sway bar lower control arm. And I got finished welding everything to find out, as you can tell in this clip, that the muffler stuck out too far. I'm not a fan of it. Jonathan's not a fan of it. So at the moment, we're trying to recoup some of the money from purchasing some of these items that we do not need anymore. And then we are coming up with a solution as far as a muffler solution. This muffler ain't gonna work. So if you want this muffler, hit me up in the email down in the description below. Stay tuned for another video to show you the conclusion of the exhaust. But just like always, subscribe, hit the like button. I love all you guys, and Happy New Year. We may or may not have another build coming to the channel similar to this. So if you wanna see it, do me a favor and like the video. Come back again and see your boy Speedaddixxgarage.